Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are returning. We are continuing on today in the Daily Color with our special Magical Worlds coloring of this pumpkin that I am making purple. So today I want to work on some of the extra bits and pieces rather than the pumpkin, because I know that the pumpkin is going to take the longest to get colored. So we will circle back to the pumpkin itself closer to the end of the week, or Halloween, the 31st. I will tell you that one of the colors I was looking for that I cannot find is this dark sepia. So I am using the warm gray 6 today as a substitute for it. Warm gray 6 right here. And then the other addition that I made that we may not see today is I have added between the dark indigo and that purple color that I don't have the name in my mind, Delft blue, which is actually got blue in the name. That's why I didn't remember it. I'm adding Indanthrene blue, which I actually used last week when I did the Albrecht Dürers. I used that Indanthrene blue. So I am going to be putting that in to help the transition between the dark indigo and the purples. I kind of don't like how dark this is, so there will be a little bit of transitioning of that when the time comes. And I think what I want to do first, mainly because in my Lazy Susan that is where I'm rotated to, and that is I am going to grab my oranges and we are going to work on the bits of orange that I will be putting on here, because it is a Halloween pumpkin. The Halloween pumpkin house. So I've got 4 oranges, light to dark. Hope everyone is having a good week this Halloween week. Cadmium orange 111, orange glaze in that weird all caps. I don't know if that was just like, is it older, is it newer? I suspect that is an older font, an older pencil. 113, 115 dark cadmium orange, and then light cadmium red as our darkest color, 117. And where I am going to be putting these is I will be doing the curtains in the oranges. Today I got to watch Bubba the dog, and I worked on the coloring of the little bits and bobs on this page rather than working on a different page. I finished last week's fall ladder and showed you guys the finished version of it. I struggled some with the wording, the words fall, and I still don't think it was probably the best option, but it's what I came up with. Again, not being an experienced lettering coloring person. I am just doing some middle pressure. This is the darkest color, framing it out. I really like this color. It is a tweener color, not quite red, not quite orange, not quite pink, not quite coral. It's just a little bit of everything. So I hope once we get this, all of the other little bits, at least in the center area, I can work my way out on my own time. I'm moving out one color to the dark cadmium orange. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I might not have mentioned it. I have done a little bit of work since I purchased my, I guess probably my final round. Of course, never say never. Never say final. Of my Holbeins that gives me pretty much the main colors I need. I have about, I think I have 90 colors and a couple of dupes now. I have enough duplicates that for my coloring group, I have a nice array of kind of the rainbow main color family colors, which I think feel really fortunate that that is how it ended up. And so I don't have any of the pastels because, well, many of the pastels. I did not focus on the pastels. But I do own all of the Brute Funer dupes. So I pretty much have probably 120 to 130 of them. And then they do have some neons and a few metallics, and I won't need those. Of course, now, who knows, I'm all of a sudden loving the idea of neons and metallics. But I know that there aren't enough of those to fulfill the purpose that I would have for them. That was the second to lightest, the orange glaze. The orange glaze is actually used a lot in nature and animal portraits. It is used as a glaze, actually. So this one is that lightest color, and it is cadmium orange. So I'm trying something. I am normally very linear and would be putting vertical lines. I am not the soft, dark to light. In fact, the way this pumpkin is colored is not the way I would normally color. I'm trying to color differently. And so that is the same style that I have done here with this set of curtains, with the glow, you know, dark to light in the middle where my light source is, and no linear. I might come back in now and I could darken some of these folds a little bit, but not overemphasizing them. And my inclination with this pumpkin is totally to put a lot of lines and marks on it, but I might just leave it smooth. Leaving it smooth takes a lot less time, and it has a very nice look to it that I like, so I might just leave it that way. I'm going to wait until I get the rest of this page colored in before I really decide which way I want to go. I should get the light back out. So back to the light. Okay, so back to my Holbein story. I digress. So I have ordered 3 different orders where I picked my colors specifically, and then in the end there was a lot that popped up on Poshmark, of all things, which I'd never bought from. And I just went out to the listing. There's no way to talk to the people directly, which I think is so strange. But I was able to put a comment that said, can you give me the list of the numbers so that I can match them up with what I already own? Yeah, I like that. Then I think I would like the tie back. I want them to be light for variation, and then I will come back in here and just do a little shadow. She responded so quickly with her numbers list. I had logged off for the night. She had then sent me an offer, and I ended up getting 57 pencils with 1 duplicate, so a total of 58 for I think $95 plus $7 shipping. So that was a fantastic deal. So this is somewhat what we're looking like. Let me go ahead and do at least the 2 windows on either side curtains, and then I want to go in and do the yellow. I'm going to sharpen this darkest one. So I do want this page to look very Halloween with purple, orange, black. And then I do have to fill in with green because we have some foliage, and I may with the floral elements because we have some flowers. I may keep those orange. I do have an array of pinks. I could do yellow. This I won't do yellow because I'm going to have yellow light in the background. Okay, so this does not have many folds as a guide for me. And I'm just going down through the colors. So when I was doing my matchup of the colors that I already own versus the lot, I noticed that I did not have evergreen. And yet I had it swatched. But very clearly when I was putting them in, I have a new case that I bought for them. And I bought a 120 case, so that's my other issue is, do I want to keep these in a bigger case? The 16 already have their own little case of 50, the one that had the 50 that I originally started with earlier this year, until I got on a thing where I need more. So evergreen was lost, and I know, just like the sepia. So what brought this all up is that I'm looking for sepia, and what do I find instead of sepia? I'm going through my greens, and I find, let's see if I can locate it. Here it is. There's my one missing green, Evergreen 254. And as you can see, they look similar but different, but they're both glossy full color barrel, and they are pretty beefy diameter with gold. So it did jump out at me when I was looking today, because I was looking outside of, first I'm in the browns and it's not in the browns, so I'm just checking all of the different possibilities. So yesterday I noticed, so that's my story. I can't find sepia, and I need it now, but I did find evergreen, so it should all balance out, right? So I noticed when I was coloring yesterday, I did not have, let's see if I can show you without too much trouble. There we go. I have these clips. These clips are holding it open because as I was pushing down on the page, this is somewhere in the middle of the book, I noticed that my focus was going in and out of focus because it was focused on the raised up page, not when I push it down to color on it, height of the page. And actually where things are now, I can't even see whether it's focused or not. I'm trying to give you guys a bigger view of the image today. So I hope it's focused, because I do film live. I do not speed up. I do not cut out. Kind of what it is what it is. And that it works the best for me to be able to post every single day. If I had to make this a pretty perfect, clean up every little mistake production every single day, I think Hub would complain. He wants me to be done by 5 o'clock every day, you guys, and I'm pretty much never done by 5 o'clock. Before my mom was here, it was easier to achieve that goal. We typically play our computer game at night, but it is challenging with my mom because we all do morning outdoor things. Even Hub goes and does morning outdoor things. All right, those are, I was going to do one more. I was going to go ahead and do the one on the other side over here. And so let's hope that we are still in focus. get this third window. That'll give us the good idea of how my vision is shaping up. So now I get to try to find sepia. Where would I have hid the sepia? I do keep various polycolors out for coloring projects, which I do have one, but that particular project is mostly blues, which I've stolen. Indanthrene blue is one of those colors from that. Same with the dark indigo. But it doesn't use sepia, so that is not. And I've now pilfered all of the colors, so I'll have to make sure I have logged those colors somewhere. That is the one thing about having your collection of pencils, and I have 5 sets of them that are in an open case, rubber banded. Okay, that was the darkest color. Now I'm moving on to the dark cadmium orange. Not having them in a zippered case where you can see the slot is empty or full, and it's in color family order, it makes it harder to know if you have a problem. So I knew the Holbein had a problem when I was doing the ordering of what I had already owned versus what I was going to get. And the evergreen was empty, but yet my swatch insert that goes in the case had a color on it, so it was definitely a color I had. But now I have found it, so I guess that's good. You gotta take the good with the bad. Second lightest, orange glaze. Just a little bit ago we had sun and rain all at the same time. Our rainy season is not quite over yet. But it is getting close to the end. And it has been very, now I'm going to the lightest color, which is cadmium orange. It has overall been quite dry here. So as soon as I finish this orange, I'm going to move to yellow. I'm trying to keep this pretty bright. Bright and cheerful. All right. Oh, look at that over here. I did not color the tie backs. The next color that I do have right here are the yellows. I do have 3. Naples Yellow 185, light yellow, boy that's kind of hard to read today, light yellow ochre 183, I guess I could put it down further, and green gold 288. 8. This green gold, there is a color like this in the Copics that is just fantastic. It is actually number, I believe it's Y28. That is very similar to this. So we have some background lighting in the rooms that we want to add. And again, I'm using medium pressure. So like these 3 flowers, I am contemplating red, a bright red. And if that's the case, it might be that along the stem, the pumpkin stem has some flowers, some vines, and I might also make those red. You know, blood for Halloween. These tulips might also be red. Maybe I'll do some different shades of red. I could do a deep burgundy blood and then a bright blood. Starting over with the dark color. The door is going to be browns. We might even get to that. That's what caused me to look for sepia. I even think I should have an extra sepia. The walnut brown, black, white. I have multiples of those, and I'm thinking I should have a multiple of sepia as well. That is a very common color. Yep, this is looking like my vision. Okay, let's do the 3rd window opening. Before I get away from the orange, I think I want, so the little pumpkins in front are not like a painted house color of purple. They are going to be orange. True pumpkin colored. So I will shift my book. Okay, so those are the yellows for the day. just going to grab the oranges again. Let's make sure that we move up. Keeping things very bright. Starting with our darkest. Tell I'm being very quiet today. 2 days in a row that I am quiet. All right, all the pumpkins have their darkest orange. Second darkest orange is dark cadmium orange. Let's look at those pretty dark. I don't know what it is about pumpkins. I just really love coloring them. They're segmented, and they have their, in each segment there's this shadow all the way to the light. I don't know, they're just really fun. Moving to the second lightest, which is that orange glaze. So after the orange, I have to decide if I want to go to the green or if I want to work on the brown. The brown probably is most interesting because I have some texture to work on. The stem is going to be brown and the door is going to be brown. From there, I get to decide if I'm going to have the window sills. They might have a base. The bottom and the insets may be brown, or they're going to be gray to black. I need my lightest color and I grabbed the darkest. I am getting warm. And of course I was cold when I first sat down. So here I have to do some fancy undoing of my blanket. Okay, that's much better. Lightest orange, cadmium orange. I will use it to do some burnishing. There you go. I really hope this is in focus, that my fix that I did with the clips make it all work the way it's supposed to. I am leaving some highlights that are actually white, but I am toying with filling them all in with color. We will see. I won't do that till the very end. I tend to always like a little bit of white. That is my lightest highlight. So there are all of the pops of orange. I still have one sill here and one sill here with the curtains, but I won't worry about those yet because we want to work on the focal space. And I see an area of yellow I missed in the middle. And I think I'm gonna just do it, this is the door. We'll just block in this one lightly. Now I have my blend. It is the brown blend. I will play with the door. I think I have one more. It is 5. There is one color in here. This is actually more for the stem than the wood. It is called olive green yellowish 173. I'm actually setting that down. I don't have my sepia, so I do have, I already showed you the warm gray 6 here, that it is kind of waiting in the wings should I decide I need it. Which now gets us down to 4 colors to play with. Right now, the darkest that I have is walnut brown. So that is going to be my wood grain tool, because we are going to do wood grain on that door. We have Beaster, which is a little bit soft tan, 179, Nougat, 178, Burnt Umber, 280, and Walnut Brown, 177. So on this door, the first thing that I am going to do, I'm going to just make sure it's focused, is draw in. I'm not as sharp as I could be. If I wanted to be super sharp, and again, this isn't as dark as I would like, but it's the darkest I have at the moment. And I'm just sketching in some wood grain and some knots. I might have to sharpen this. It's very smooth paper. So if I'm going to make it be the best at the darkest, let's just keep it super sharp. The planks, I am going ahead and lining with this walnut brown each of the plank lengths. And I did not check the time before I started this. I will probably try to get the door mostly finished, even if we have to go a little bit long. Alright, so I've kind of sketched things in, and we can just build on what is here. I'm thinking the metal will be like a mix of steel. Like these rivets might be steel, this horizontal would be wood, and then maybe brass. I'm gonna see if I want to darken it more for that Halloween dark feel, or if I can go with brass. All right, moving one lighter, and this is what, so here is a sharpened poly, and there is a brand new one that has not been sharpened, which is funny because it's a color, burnt umber, and it looks like a color that would be used a lot in nature, and yet it has not been sharpened, and I do not think it's a second or third. Some of my pencils I'm onto the third and fourth ones of them. So I am going to try to do less lines since we're going for more of a smooth look. I've got the wood grain in, so now I'm going to try my hardest not to put a ton of line work in. I'd like this whole image to be more smooth looking, so we will see how well I do with my attempt to not overemphasize all the lines. I might have to come back in with the warm gray, but I want to get to the lighter tones. Bistre is my lightest color, and I don't really know how to say that. B-I-S-T-R-E. Okay, it's looking okay. Going one lighter. We're on to Nougat, I believe. Yes, Nougat, 178. This has been used for animal portraits. It is super sharp, needle sharp, and I'm using very soft pressure. Well, I hope that you guys are having a good time and have joined in to color this pumpkin whatever color you would like. Again, I think that if you just pick your lights, mediums, and darks, you can color along with me. You can play with this the way I'm coloring, or color with whatever style that you would like, whatever appeals to you. Alright, so we want to come in from the sides a little bit, leaving the middle of the planks lightest for the lightest color, which is, as I said, and that one, Bistre, is not used as much, so it is not as sharp as Nougat is. Alright. Gonna leave some white to then decide if I'm going to fill it all in, because if everything gets filled in, it'll all have to get filled in. It just depends on how brave I am to be a little bit different. Okay, final color, Bistre, 179. Very soft. It's a little bit warmer. I could have gone darker with the door if I had found my sepia, but our darkest color is much lighter than the sepia. I still think it will work. Okay, then the last thing I want to do, I think I want to leave it a little bit softer than maybe the finished version will be, but it looks okay. I do want to go back with my dark again, where we've gone all the way around, back to walnut brown, and I want to add in a little shadow here. And with that, I bet that my time is used up and maybe then some. Okay, how far? Oh, I'm not bad. Nice. I think I saw 43 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and darken up a little bit here. And you know, you have to have everything even, and I darkened that quite a bit. So what that means is I have to even it up. I think that needs a knot. Okay, let's do a little more detail work on this top panel. All right, there's my door. So, coming right along, we're going to continue this tomorrow. I hope you can join me. We will continue on. We've got a lot of green to do. We have the stem. So tomorrow, the stem is way up here, and that is going to be with the same browns as well as that green that I showed you. Olive, green, yellowish, and maybe a little bit of the gray. I still might have to add a little gray on the door, but I think we made some good progress and that you guys can see what I am after. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing, and I hope to see you all there.